Talk with LT, episode 49. This episode's brought to you by Gwop.com. This episode's also brought to you by Anchor, Anchor.fm. Start your own podcast. All right, so speaking of starting your own podcast, motherfuckers that already made it. This is the problem. I hate when niggas that already made it, they're already famous for some bullshit, and they give advice about starting a podcast, and they're like, yeah, some people will be like, the easiest way to have a successful podcast is be someone famous. Then you already have your following, and you have people listening to your podcast. But that doesn't stop certain people that, you know, support and show love from telling people to start a podcast, even if they're somebody that's not a celebrity or whatever, and if they can get a message and build their podcast, because there's plenty of these motherfuckers that are out here that start off as no names, and then they build their podcast because they have an interesting podcast or an interesting point of view, interesting subject matter, a niche, or any type of thing that will gain a following. So people try to say, oh, like there's certain media people, I'm not even going to name names, that are trying to, like, you know, hate on motherfuckers that are coming up now and starting their shit from scratch and not being a celebrity or not having a following. It's like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. That's some hater shit. That's like when motherfuckers tell you that you can't do something because they can't do it themselves, and they project that bullshit on you. Like, move that. See, I started my podcast. I had a following. I have, you know, my Instagram followers. I have my Twitter followers. I have the people that followed me from music, listening to my mixtapes, but not a substantial following. Pretty much building the podcast from ground up, because not everybody that listened to my music listen to my podcast, and vice versa. So it's like, it is what it is in that regard. But at the end of the day, that's bad advice if someone's trying to give you that type of, don't listen. For me, I don't listen to naysayer ass advice that you can't do or you shouldn't do or maybe do this. Like, fuck out of here with that bullshit. Not everybody has the same route or the same path to success as everybody else. So sometimes when someone tries to tell you some linear bullshit like that, it's just like, you gotta like brush that off to the side. And anybody that's perpetuating that, you know, that message in the media, fuck out of here. That's some bitch ass shit, because you're afraid niggas is coming for your spots. So you're just, you know, trying to make people give up before they can get there, even if they're closer to the goal than, you know, it might appear. So that's my first thought of the day. Came back from vacation in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. Not too much to say about that right now in the vacation, because vacation's vacation. You want to relax and you want to get your shit done. But it was a live spot, a lit spot. No complaints on the resort that I went to. I went to the Majestic Colonial, decent resort. I think it's a 5-star resort, good resort in Dominican Republic. Yeah, that shit just sparked interest in traveling. Now I've already wanted to travel and go places and do my shit, but at the end of the day, now I kind of just want to see different spots, touch the culture, you know, see how it is in different islands and different countries. I always wanted to do that, but now it's kind of like, okay, now I really got to, you know, fast track to doing it more. Gave me that hunger to try to, you know, I feel like everybody should travel if you don't have a criminal record or criminal charges. That's why it's like, it's very important when you're out there as a youth and you're like, you know, you're on your bullshit, to make sure that you don't have a criminal fucking record, so you can do shit in life. You can get a job, you can travel, you can do your shit. Because everybody wants to be a goon until it's time to fucking, you know, deal with the repercussions of doing fuck shit. And that's the problem most times. It's like, you get that shit, you can't travel. You're a rapper, you want to have a rap career, you're trying to go to the States. You can't go to America unless you get certain. There's certain people that get little like passes and little shit that goes on for like heavy celebrities. But for the most part, it's like, you ain't getting that pass. It's better to not have any type of criminal record so you don't get stopped at borders, because ASAP was having problems in certain places. And see, people have like, I don't even think he has like serious criminal records, but it's like, at the end of the day, it's like they try to stop your bag, stop your travel, stop all of that shit when you actually have a record. And speaking of, you know, not doing shit, or doing shit and not being able to hold your fucking, your time or whatever, your consequences, or being aware of the consequences or the repercussions of doing shit. We got Tekashi, Snitch 9, Tekashi 6ix9ine, rainbow colored hair fruit. You know what I mean? That nigga. So I basically got the whole background and the whole scoop to that shit now, because I actually went and did my research to that shit, because more times than not, I'm kind of loosely reporting like some bullshit I see off of like fucking academics or whatever when it comes to, Tekashi 6ix9ine. Although academics is a reputable, source when it comes to reporting on 6ix9ine, because 6ix9ine, him and 6ix9ine were buddy before 6ix9ine, ultimately got bagged and told on the world. But with all the audios that came out, the 274-page disclosure, the 12 videos that came out, the fucking 7 audios that came out, the phone taps and all the phone wires, conversations and shit. You have Treyway niggas. This is like audio released by like Vlad TV talking shit about Shadi and disrespecting Shadi and calling Shadi a roach, and certain turmoil within the crew, and niggas wanted to move up and get in certain control, and niggas was extorting Tekashi 6ix9ine the whole time, which pretty much everybody kind of knew that. The thing that's like, yeah, they were extorting him the whole time, and he's snitching, and he's putting that shit out to the judge and then to the media, because the media somehow, well, that's what's pretty much going to happen in all these high-profile cases. The media is going to get in there, they're going to get their cameras in there, and they're going to have like high-quality video and audio of everything in the case, which is fucked up, and I don't think that's how the justice system should be. But at the end of the day, this guy snitching, we can get high-quality footage of niggas snitching. That's actually pretty hilarious, but not for the people that suffer from the snitching, because he's just calling all sorts of people. Like, he listed Cardi B, said Cardi B's a snitch. Like, what is Cardi? Well, not Cardi B's a snitch. Wow, fail. Cardi B's a blood. And he tried to say Jim Jones is 9 Trey. Cardi B went out and made a video refuting it, but that was pretty much a rumor, because I haven't heard the audio or the video of him saying Cardi B's name. People were just putting that out there, but the Jim Jones thing, he definitely did say. And then there was a wired tap from the cops pulling up a Jim Jones conversation of him saying some bullshit to some 9 Trey members, and it's very messy. If you guys want to see most of the audio and the video pertaining to the case, go to Vlad TV's page. Vlad TV has all this shit. I could post it on my website as well, but I don't really post secondhand content on the website. It's all original, so I would just give a referral to Vlad if you want to, see all those audios. And TMZ has some of the shit too. They have some of the videos and some of the audios, but Vlad has everything. If TMZ has it, Vlad reposted it. Vlad pretty much has everything pertaining to the Tekashi 6ix9ine case, and all the loose strings and all the little insides and things, little details that you need to know. Academics will have it, but this is just my opinion on the shit of what they're reporting, because I don't actually, that's the thing that gets me when these motherfuckers, these bitch ass niggas is always in my DMs. How could you talk about that? What's gonna grown man talks about this stuff? It's like, nigga, this shit's already out here. I'm just giving my opinion. There, people try to act like I'm reporting the news, like I'm the fucking first person to drop this information. I'm never the first person to drop anything. That's what people got to understand. I'm not gonna be the source of some fucking article. I'm not a reporter. That's not what this is. I'm a rapper, and I have a podcast. You know what I mean? I give my thoughts on whatever the hell I see is going on in the culture, and more rappers should have their own podcast. You see, T.I. has his podcast now. T.I., everybody's podcast has their own flavor and their own bump to it, too. T.I.'s podcast is a little different for me. I don't know if I'll, watch that on the regular, but, people have their own podcast, and everybody should have their own podcast, because I feel like that is the new verified stamp. Everybody wants that stupid blue check from Twitter and Instagram and shit. It's like, well, there's a lot of people that are verified that you can try. You gotta Google them. You try to see them on the internet. You're trying to see their presence for what they're verified for, and it ain't much sometimes, and it ain't really anything. So it's like, having your own podcast is like literally having your own platform and your own certification. If you don't really have your own podcast, you don't really have your own platform. You can have your Instagram and make your 30-second clips of shit. You don't have a weekly or a bi-weekly show. And some people even have like 3-4 episodes a week. You know what I mean? So people have their own show and their own talking platform where they can speak for half an hour, 3 hours. It doesn't matter. That's the new verification to me. That's the new Twitter verification. That's the new, Instagram verification. If you don't have your own podcast, you ain't really out there like that, because everybody has their own podcast. Back to 6ix9ine and the snitching. So the shit gets super deep with 6ix9ine and the snitching, because it's like in his snitching he says that he pretty much targeted the gang members. Like he was trying to get 9 Train, trying to get these Bloods on his side so he can actually have crew and do his shit within the rap game and cloud up and do all. He had this vision. He says this shit on the stand. So it's like you target the niggas that you want to roll with you. You tell them what type of bullshit to do. You have them riding with you, doing all sorts of shootings, all sorts of fuckery. You snitch on them and you're able to walk and they get all the time, but you tell all the details. The cops were building up a large case for a long time. That's why they're letting a lot of shit go. And every time you're like, okay, why is Tekashi, why is 6ix9ine, why is these niggas getting away with all this shit? It's on YouTube, it's on Instagram, it's all this shit that's going on. No one's getting arrested. They're like, why is this happening? The cops were clearly just building a case. So they're building a case. It's like they're building a case. They're letting all this shit happen so they can build a case, get more evidence, put everything together as they're building the case. So certain things are sliding. People are like, why is that sliding? Why are they not getting bagged for this? Da-da-da-da. It's all out there. They're building a case. They're building a huge case. They knew what was going on. The cops had a snitch on the inside. The driver was a snitch because he got supposedly reported by ICE and arrested by ICE. And pretty much they used him as a snitch to derive information from whatever the fuck's going on, so he would stay in the country. So he's just doing his shit, driving all over the place, getting his paper, seeing everything that's going on. The cops have some high quality camera and audio in his truck. That's why they had the whole recording of his the kidnapping and everything. And it's like they were just building a case. They have Tekashi 6ix9ine, the prime target and the prime suspect and prime victim of the case. He's all of the three. He's the victim. He's the suspect. He's the snitch. He's everything. He's in the case, and he's able to. For me, it's like the system's so fucked up. It so favors the snitch. It's like there's a statement from his lawyer saying that he will not be in witness protection when he comes out. And it's like, okay, so there's when he comes out, so that's already been admitted to. They know they can't hide the fact that he's going to come out as soon as the trial's done. As soon as they hit the end of the trial, it's not like he's going to be sentenced for more time. It's, he's going to get the time served because he's been in there for, a year and change, and he's given X, Y, and Z information, and they're going to just take him from PC and move him into, out there in a witness protection out in the public, and he's going to try to have a career again. But we'll see how that goes. Okay, back to my point. How are you able to conjure all this bullshit, start the whole thing, admit to even targeting people, to actually have them, to coerce them to do your fuck shit? You tell on them and you get away. Like you told on the man that tried to, shoot at Chief Keef or whatever. Like you admitted that you called him up, which the cops already knew because they were tapping the phones. You admitted to that you told them to target, you told them to shoot, whatever. And, obviously nothing happened to Chief Keef. They shot in the air or whatever. But at the end of the day, you ordered the hit, and then you snitched on the man, and then he gets time, and you walk. Like, I know they're like, but he's doing time right now. But that is bullshit. He's in protective custody. He's doing his time this is bullshit. He's going to be out, and it's just like, that's a failed criminal system when you have snitches just blatantly just being a part of everything. Not a witness seeing all sorts of crime and snitching on everything because they seen crimes and all sorts of shit happen. You are a part of everything, and then you snitch, and then you get off without, that is I spoke about this shit before on the podcast, but this is just like it's coming. It's all real now. Like he's gonna get out as soon as everybody gets sentenced, which is a bunch more people on the line to get sentenced. So he's still gonna be the trial's gonna run much longer than people suspect. But at the end of the day, it's like that is just absolutely gross. Okay, I'm not gonna take up the whole time talking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, and I don't think I dive deep enough into the Shadi talks because the Shadi situation is a little fucked because he's in jail with the niggas that he claims to be his niggas, his gang, his niggas, whatever. His 9 Trey niggas. Sorry, I'm fucking multitasking trying to read something, so I'm fucking losing my train of thought. Yeah, his niggas. He's in there, but there's wiretaps of those niggas talking shit about him. Niggas not fucking with him. Niggas saying we're just doing this and that to extort 6ix9ine, and they don't really fuck with Shadi, and they look at him like he's a goof or he's like basically just like 6ix9ine. That's what they were saying on the phone while they're laughing. So he has that information out now, and those are his niggas, and that's his gang, and he's in the bin with them for several years, and he wasn't bending or folding or giving any information. To my knowledge, I didn't actually read his entire disclosure to know what the fuck he actually gave up, but he has his sentence. He's going to be in there for what did he get sentenced for? What, 6, 7 years? 7, 8, 13? Fuck, I'm off. Whatever. It's like, I don't know, man. This shit is just very ugly. Very ugly. I don't know what type of precedent this sends. And I don't know if people want to talk about the big debate. Is Tekashi 6ix9ine going to have a career after all of this shit coming out? Say if he comes out in 2020, midway through 2020, possibly even 2021, can he have a career? Which venues will book him? Will he still have an audience? He will still have an audience. He'll still have a fan base because I'm pretty sure most of his fan base were like young white kids anyway that just like the screaming and the noise on his song. Like they don't care about the snitching and all that shit anyway. So he'll be able to like people think that no venues and niggas will just run up on him and slap him up because he's a snitch, and people think that people would randomly ride for other people's beef. Like that's not how the world works. Like people want to talk the most shit about George Zimmerman for all the shit that he did to Trayvon Martin, the fuck Zimmerman, all this shit. All niggas need to do this if we see Zimmerman. Zimmerman's been on road for how long untouched? So it's like nobody does shit no one rides for people's beef that they don't actually, or people's problems if they don't know them personally. They could say whatever they want on the internet and people could act like this is what's going to happen. Nothing's going to happen to dude unless it's personally from the people that he snitched on or the people's families or, people them that he snitched on. So that's not going to happen. What could happen is that he will stay out of the large cities because the venues might not want to book him in fear of shit happening. So he can still tour all around the world. He can still go to Russia. He can still go to Australia. He can still go to London. He can still make a lot of money touring if he still has his fan base and they accept him after the snitching. So in my opinion, I don't think his career is over, sadly. I won't be checking for anything the dude does. Not even an Instagram video. Not even if it's funny or whatever. He just boycott because we're not supporting snitch. Like, nah, we ain't doing that out here. Even if, like, for me, as a smaller podcast, if I could have him on an interview, I wouldn't even do it. That would blow up my whole podcast, definitely do 1 million views, definitely change my life, but for the worse, and I'd probably end up not doing anything after that. Selling out my soul just for views like that ain't the wave, so you won't see me doing shit like that. But it'll be interesting to see who does the first Tekashi 6ix9ine interview when he comes out of jail. I'd probably bet money it'll probably be Academics because Academics wouldn't really be frowned upon for doing that type of interview because people expect DJ Academics to do that interview because of the relationship that they had prior. And we already know DJ Academics is a law-abiding citizen. He ain't with that shit, so people don't look at him in that certain type of light. It's not like if Academics snitch, people wouldn't. I think if Academics snitch, the fucking, they will go on like nothing happened. Tomorrow will be tomorrow, like, it's a normal thing because People already know that's within his character and that's what he's gonna do. And he wasn't on that 6ix9ine shit trying to pull cards and do all that fuck shit that 6ix9ine was trying to do, disrespect, real niggas and shit, like the type of shit 6ix9ine was trying to do. So it's not the same type of thing, but we know that he's cut from a similar type of cloth. So they can definitely do an interview together and no one's gonna judge academics. So I would feel like that's probably one of the first people he'll do an interview with when he gets out, if he wants to do that, loyalty shit, unless he's gonna turn a whole new leaf and be on a whole new wave where he just fucks with a whole different set of people and he erases his past life. Who the hell knows? But I don't know, man. I don't like people doing jail time, so I can't even say anything about anything like that. But it's like, jeez, yo, that sucks that the system is like that. All right, so let me get to some fucking basketball talks. I'm tired of these top 50 lists. Okay, there's the top 50. First, there's a top 50 rappers list that got everybody up in arms, but it wasn't even from a reputable source. It was from like a bunch of nobodies. So for everybody to get up in arms and pissed off about that shit, I felt like that was bullshit. Shouldn't get mad at an opinion from a nobody. But now Bleacher Report, somebody or a group of individuals that people actually give credence to what the fuck they say and pay attention to their list, and they drop their top 50. For me, I don't really like even ESPN's top 50 and everybody's I don't care about anybody's top 50s. That's their opinion. That's their panel of people reading stats and analytics that come up with these opinions. But any real sports fan knows that analytics is not a perfect measurement of how good somebody was. And they're like, why? That's just a list. That's just a stat of list of, activities or things that happened during the game. It's just a document of what happened in the game. That's what their stats are, and that's what the analytics show. But it's like, no, there's more to just what happens on paper. Sometimes you have to witness things and see how things unfold and what type of circumstances and situations those stats were, brought upon from. So it's like, it's not a perfect thing, and I feel like this list is too heavily relied on by analytics when I read the list. Let me just go to the top 10 because everything else isn't the most relevant. I'm not trying to read the whole top 50 list and debate everybody's slot because then we'll be here podcasting for like 3 hours. So let me just get down to number 1 and let's get into it. All right, so we gonna get into it. Number 1. I'm not going to debate this one because I'm clearly a LeBron James guy. I'm clearly a LeBron's the GOAT guy. I made a video back a couple months ago saying like I ended the LeBron and Jordan debate because I refused to debate it furthermore. I feel like generational, it's hard to compare generations for generations. And, of course, LeBron's as good as LeBron is because of the existence of people like Dr. J, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, people that he was inspired from. So clearly, there's an advantage in generation, and it's hard debate. LeBron's still currently active, so the top 1 is like literally the hardest debate. I'm gonna leave this one alone. I'm not gonna debate LeBron James and Michael Jordan. I would have debated if Michael Jordan and LeBron James weren't 1 and 2. I'm not gonna debate the order of it, but if LeBron was like number 3 or something and they had Kareem, then I'd be like, okay, I'm battling this. But they got Jordan at number 1, LeBron at number 2. And no real gripes with that. They got Kareem at number 3, Magic at number 4, Bird at number 5. No real gripes with this right now. I didn't get to see Bird play as much. I know Bird was ridiculously good, so I'm not going to argue Bird. My only thing with Bird is the longevity. I feel like, yeah, you were that great. You 3 finals MVPs, 3 championships. Did he have 3 finals MVPs? Let me go check this out. He had 3 championships. I'm not sure he was a finals MVP for all of them. But actually, I don't think he was for the first one. I can't see it right here. But I'm pretty sure he has 2 finals MVPs. Because he had like 3 other Hall of Famers on his team. His team was nice. But yeah, Shaq at 6. Tim Duncan at 7. Bill Russell at 8. This nigga play like, for me, I don't like to touch things from the 50s, the 60s, and that's just so long ago. It's like it's very hard to compare. It's like if anybody from this time, any center from this time played back then, they would dominate. So it's like you can't. It's so hard to gauge. Like, but you have to look at the rings and look at the success, and then judge them for their era. So, Bill Russell, what, 12 rings, 11 rings? Can't remember. How dare me? How dare me forget how much rings that Bill Russell has? Bill Russell has 11 rings. Wilt Chamberlain at number 9. You know, Bill Russell stopped Wilt Chamberlain from having all those rings because he had a stacked team. But Wilt Chamberlain was literally the GOAT of that era. I would switch the order of that. Steph Curry at number 10. Whoa, that's pretty high and pretty early for Steph Curry. 3 championships, no Finals MVPs. Wasn't the best player on his team for the 2 of those championships where Kevin Durant was there. I don't know how you put Steph Curry. Like, Steph Curry's great. Yeah, he changed the game. He's a great player. I'm not going to take anything away from Steph because I feel like more times than not, Steph Curry is underrated. And the way they play some, like, when they talk about top 10 basketball players, like the top 10 list came out, Steph Curry was like number 6 or something, but he's number 10 of all time on this list. So it's like there's certain things, like how is he number 6 of current day and number 10 of all time? Like, for me, that just doesn't even make sense because most players that are, you know, on that current list aren't even close to where he is on the all-time list, but that's a different discussion. So, yeah, even with all the underratedness, number 10, that's way too high. That's way too high. He's not better than KD. He's not better than Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant has 5 rings, 2 Finals MVPs. 3 of those Finals MVPs that he lost to Shaq, he lost to fucking Shaq. Like, Shaq was dominant, so obviously he's not going to win those Finals MVPs, but it was clear his contribution to those championships. So 5 championships, 2 Finals MVPs, played how many years, came in out of high school. Kobe Bryant should be higher. Where's Kobe? Oscar Robertson, I'm not even going to debate that. He played too long ago. David Robinson, whoa. David Robinson's way too high on this list. Fuck out of here with that bullshit. Great player, but better than Tim Duncan. Oh, no, Tim Duncan's lower. Better than Akeem Olajuwon? You're crazy. Akeem Olajuwon's next. I'm not going to debate his position too much. But okay, Kobe Bryant 14. Kobe Bryant 14, but Steph Curry at number 10. That's crazy. That's crazy. As good as a shooter as Steph Curry is, as good as he is, as much as he impacts the fucking game, there's no way in hell you're telling me that he's better than Kobe Bryant career-wise. Right now, and his career's not even done. Say if Steph plays a couple more years and he ends up beating AD and LeBron and Kawhi and PG or whatever, then he gets another ring and he's the Finals MVP. You look at his career different. But right now, to say he's better than Kobe's insane. You could compare them when they're done and still have Kobe ahead of him. But for you to, like, I don't know, man. For them to, like, that is ridiculous. Kobe played both ends of the court, too. Like, they want to discount defense. If you drop Steph Curry in the 90s where there was fucking 2 hand checks before they switched. No, not even the 90s. Like, the 80s, early 90s when you could 2 hand check, not even just 1 hand check, because they removed the rule twice. First, they removed the double hand check, like in the early 90s. They removed the hand check period in, 96, 97? But, no, it wasn't even 96. They got rid of it in 2004. They got rid of hand checking completely in 2004. But they had 2 hand checks up until, like, somewhere in the 90s. And it's like, if you put Steph Curry in that type of game where they're hand checking you and you can't shoot well, you can't shoot as easy and you have no defense to rely on, like, Kobe can shut a motherfucker down on defense. People forget that, and that's a part of the game. So, I don't know. You can't put him that high up on the list. As great as Steph Curry is. Kevin Durant, number 15. 1 behind Kobe. Yeah, I don't know. I understand why Kevin Durant feels unappreciated and underrated. Not because he's behind Kobe, because I'm not going to debate that. But he's behind Steph Curry by 5 slots on this. Like, that is kind of like, shit. I don't know about that. Kevin Garnett. Okay, I'm going too high now. I'm not going to debate the whole list. But, you know, I have gripes with the list. I have gripes with the main. For me, it's just really the whole Kobe, Akeem Olajuwon. They should be definitely lower on the list where they're in, like, the top 10. Or higher on the list, I should say, where they're in the top 10. And Steph Curry and them, this order, I don't know, man. Not too much gripes. Not a bad list. Not the worst. I've seen way worse in the past couple months, past couple years. All right, fuck. I kind of monopolized this podcast on a couple of topics. Well, that means I got to double up. I got another half an hour to record. Still got a bunch of topics to go through. So, be back for episode 50 just now, stackwap.com. for all episodes. StackWap.com for the apparel. If you want to get a SGE hat, SGE fitted, SGE snapback, all types of StackWap apparel and merchandise on the StackWap.com. Every episode of Blunt Talk with LT that you missed on StackWap.com, video and audio, just look through them, look through the tabs, and yeah, if you want a discount on StackWap.com, promo code Blunt Talk with capital B, capital T, 10% off. StackWap.com. Yep.